Would you say that an important role of marketing is to support the sales function, to partner with the sales function?
Absolutely, and you know, it hasn't been a good partnership.
Why don't sales and marketing get along?
They represent quite different cultures. The salespeople love to be in the customer's office, selling the customer, and not dealing with a lot of research and planning. Remember, the marketer has to really sit in the office a lot of the time, not too much of the time, in order to look at data, collect new data, write marketing plans, revise them. And so they have quite different lifestyles. And the real problem is that unless marketing and sales people start mingling more and aligning themselves more, and reaching a point where neither blames the other if sales fall, which is an old fact, finger pointing. So there are two cultures.
Before we move on to some other issues like measuring the return on marketing and so forth, which would be a way in which to reward marketers, I want to ask you a couple of questions about current forms of marketing. Is direct marketing dead? A lot of people think that it is.
Of course, very few things really die in the social or economic world. They used to say, our newspaper's dead and through, is radio finished by TV? Is advertising finished? That happens to be even a more current question about whether the 30-second commercial is delivering value. But direct marketing is a practice where you basically send out mass mailings or you make mass phone calls, and the return is at the level of 1 or 2% often, and still it makes some money for the company, but it's so low when you realize that 99 out of 100 letters did not produce a response. There's a new technique called predictive analytics, which is exciting because it gives us an equation where we could predict from any person who we might send an offer to the probability of purchase. Now, if I get a 0 when I use that equation for that person, I'm not going to send a mail piece. In fact, I may use a cutoff of 50%. Once I do that, I save a lot of money by sending out far less mail, and I get it to the right people who will respond. And so I may get a 20–30% response rate.
So there are actually still people who read print copies that they receive in the snail mail.
Or, you know, now email is being another way to deliver offers.
And what about guerrilla and viral marketing? Are they where it's at, or what's new?
Yeah, I like guerrilla marketing. It's very tactical. It's really a set of little practices that might win a couple of customers and attract attention. It's not systematic enough. And viral marketing is quite different. The practice of spreading the word around, and it was started by Hotmail, because if you wanted them to be your supplier of email connection, you would agree to have every one of your emails end up with brought to you by Hotmail or something. And now viral marketing has expanded in its meaning, but it's a way of drawing attention through the digital world to some company.
Speaking of the digital world, how do you market to the highly sought-after 20 and 30-something generation who are spending increasing amounts of time online and less time reading newspapers, reading magazines, and even in front of the television set?
Yes. I think you have to see what their lifestyle activities are. For example, you'd be amazed at how many people are playing video games throughout the world, against each other from different points in the world. And so some marketers are putting in forms of advertising in their video game structure. We find that there's a lot of blogging going on. And so the question is, how do you capitalize on that? What puzzles me is this phenomena of Facebook and MySpace and other what we call social networks, and how will those be turned into digital advertising success stories? Because the people who are on these social networks did not want advertising. They wanted to communicate with their friends.